Hi, everybody. I'm Dan Illman along with Nicole Russo, and welcome to Spa Babies presented by Stone Street Farm, one of the premier racing and breeding operations in the entire world. And Nicole, when you think about Stone Street, you think about quality runners, and two that immediately come to mind, of course, Curlin and Rachel Alexandra.
Yeah, absolutely. Both grade one winners here at Saratoga, both related to several grade one winners here at Saratoga. Curlin emerging as a sire of sires as well, and we'll see one of his sons represented in Wednesday's Spa Baby race by Solimini, standing in New York at McMahon of Saratoga Thoroughbreds.
And we'll kick off the early pick four, a 50-cent base wager, with race number 2 at Saratoga on Wednesday. Let's throw up the field, and it is a pretty full field, 5.5 furlongs on the turf. These are 2-year-old New York breds. We've got the number 1A Resilient Hero. That's a main track only entrant. The 2B Epitaph is on the also eligible list, but a nice mixture of first-time starters, experienced runners. Pedigree very important in a race like this.
Absolutely, especially when you're looking at the turf where there have been limited opportunities to this point of the season for 2-year-olds on the lawn. Going to start seeing a lot more of that in the summer meets at Saratoga, Del Mar, Colonial, and other tracks. And you mentioned the experienced runners, several in this race coming out of the maiden win by Mo Plex, a New York bred who went on to win the Sanford opening weekend at Saratoga.
Let's kick things off with the number 1 Pandemic Hero. This one is trained by Wesley Ward, who certainly can get a first-time starter to fire. He has a very high percentage of winners in that situation. Pandemic Hero is a half-brother to a stakes-placed dirt router named Prince of Pharaohs. He's a $90,000 short yearling by Munnings, a rock-solid stallion. And the dam's a half to a couple of horses that did very well as 2-year-olds. You'll note the asterisk next to their names. That means they also won their career debut. Luis Saez takes them out from the rail.
Yeah, and this one's going to have to work at a trip from the rail, but I think he's very interesting. You mentioned that early success on the female side of the family. Certainly, Munnings can get you a very good 2-year-old as well. And Munnings is interesting because he did his work on the dirt. The majority of his top runners, his grade one winners, are dirt horses. So you tend to think of him more as a dirt sire, but you go through all of his progeny, and there are hundreds out there, and he's got turf runners all through those ranks. He can be just as consistent on turf.
The dam won a couple of off-turf races. This is the family of the multiple grade one dirt winner, Affirmed Success. We'll move on to the number 2, Sky Masterson, breaking from post position 4. This one sold for $50,000 in March after breezing a furlong in 10-1. There is dirt in this pedigree, but this colt did seem to improve. First time on the turf in the second lifetime start.
Really did. And I like the early progression for this son of the factor. Was sluggish at the start of his debut, which was won by Mo Plex, as we mentioned, one of several coming out of that race. Then was bumped at the start of his next outing, but did improve from a speed figure standpoint and also passed tired foes, finishing with interest. If he gets away well here, I think he could take another step forward.
By the factor, trained by Gary Contessa, Junior Alvarado takes the mount. The 3 is Iron Max from post position 2. This one's by Caravaggio, who does very, very well with turf runners. Jeremiah Engelhardt talked to our Dave Grenning before the meet started about this horse, said, and this is a pretty big statement considering the success Engelhardt has had with his 2-year-olds at this meet, that this one might have the most ability of all of them. He's just not there mentally yet.
Yeah, and that's fair with these 2-year-olds. They're learning and developing so fast. And I know some horses from this female family, you see there, it's the family of Derby winner Orb. Some of those horses take a little bit to put it together mentally as well. But then you mentioned the sire Caravaggio, a Royal Ascot winning turf sprinter himself. And this son of Scat Daddy just having a fantastic year with Group 1 winner Porta Fortuna to his credit in Europe, and White Beam repeat winner of the Diana here at Saratoga this summer.
And the dam won a couple of turf routes, so certainly bred for the grass and seems to have been picking up the pace recently in his morning drills. The number 4 is Strand Road, breaking from post position 3, a $15,000 purchase in June after breezing a furlong in 10-1 by a Stern. 15% winners, juvenile debut runners, 14% winners with turf sprints. It's a solid pedigree. This horse has been based at Parks. It'll be interesting to see how he classes up.
Yeah, and you mentioned the June sale. They obviously got this one into the barn a little bit late. 3 published works this month. I would like to see a little bit more foundation at this stage of the year, especially going after against some experienced foes in a big field. I think I'll take a wait and see approach with this one.
Dylan Davis takes them out for trainer Michael Catalano Jr. Leon Blue is the number 5, going out for Mel Giddings. Joel Rosario takes the mount. This is a half brother to a multiple stakes winning dirt performer named Allure of Money, and look how he sold up. $15,000 weanling went for 100 grand as a yearling. He's by Motown, and there's some class and turf on the bottom of the family.
Absolutely. And, Motown, I think they want to go a little bit longer, but I think he's an effective turf sire, typical of the Uncle Mo line. They're just athletic, whatever they're on. This one probably needs a little bit more distance. Do have to mention this one is named for the late, great Leon Blusewitz, trainer, pedigree guru, and terrific storyteller, one of those great characters of the sport, and we'll miss him.
The dam was unraced and is a half to a stakes place dirt router. Classic Ruby is the number 6, 1 start on the dirt. Nicole mentioned that race in against Mo Plex, who was monstrous in the debut, came right back and looked really good winning the stake. Classic Ruby, nowhere to be found that day, but got bumped a little bit at the start. This one is by Classic Empire. The unraced dam is foaled 1 wet dirt winner. A lot of dirt in this pedigree, Nicole, but I kind of like some of these workouts coming out of that race, and this seems to be a little bit of class relief, you'd have to think.
Yeah, and I do like when horses go out for their debut and they come back and work well. As we said, these horses are learning and developing at every stage at this point in their careers. And when they come out and work well, it says to me the light bulb is going on. They're, getting their blood up a little, getting a little bit competitive, figuring out what the game is all about. And when we see wet track ability in a family like this, sometimes that wet track performance translates to turf performance. So I think that's always an encouraging sign.
The number 7 is Pay the Juice, going out for Shug McGahee. This is a son of Omaha Beach. $200,000 March 2-year-old purchase after breezing a furlong in 10 seconds flat. Now, Omaha Beach does very, very well with 2-year-old first-time starters. They seem to be a little bit better on the dirt, but you'll note that the second dam here was a stakes place turf miler. Shug knows where to place him.
Absolutely. And, although I do usually like Shug's horses going a little bit longer, he can win with them first time out here at Saratoga. Sire Omaha Beach has been terrifically versatile, as you would expect from a son of Warfront. And they were just terrific at 2, his first crop last year, to put him among the leading freshman sires.
Nona Joe is the number 8. This is a grandson of Stone Street's Curlin. He's by Solomini. Rudy Rodriguez trains this one. Jose Lascano takes the mount. A half-brother to a Grade 2 stakes place turf router named Barkin. Solid at the sale. Sold for $85,000 after breezing 10-2, and a lot of turf ability on the bottom. The turf place dam's a half to Nishoba's Key, who was a really good turf horse and a debut winner. She's also a half to a Grade 2 stakes winning turf router in Nishoba's Gold, and the third dam was a Group 1 stakes winner on turf in France.
Yeah, a ton of turf class here. Solomini, I believe he's going to be a terrific young sire for the New York program. I believe he's going to be able to sire turf as well as dirt horses. Curlin, very versatile from that Smart Strike sire line. Solomini from the female family of a lot of nice horses, including 2-year-old champion Midshipman, who's been a very effective turf sprint sire. I do like the Soliminis better with a little bit of distance, a little bit of experience, which you see there in his statistics. This one does have a nice long work tab, a good foundation coming into the debut for Rudy Rodriguez.
Army Proud is the number 9, a first-time starter by Army Mule, trained by Joe Sharp. Tyler Gaffalione takes the mount. Army Proud by Army Mule again, and Army Mule does very well, it seems, with these turf sprinters. 15% winners. The first foal out of a stakes-winning dirt router. Again, a lot of dirt on the bottom of this pedigree, Nicole, but an interesting turf workout on July the 8th. The one company with a Joe Sharp trained first-time starter that finished well back in the debut, but did show good early speed.
Yeah, and Joe Sharp, another trainer who really knows how to place them, can strike at a decent price with 2-year-olds. And Army Mule, you mentioned his statistics, and he's really emerged as kind of a hidden turf sire. If you go deep in his pedigree, there's a lot of turf ability in there, and that seems to be coming through, even though Army Mule, a Grade 1 winning sprinter on dirt.
Trainer Michael Maker has had a tremendous amount of success with surface switches over the years, and he'll send out the 10 out on bail, attracting a Rad Ortiz to ride, a $110,000 March 2-year-old by first crop sire Tis the Law. Again, a lot of dirt in this family, Nicole, but this one has shown some speed. I would expect him to be forwardly placed out of the gate, and he's coming into this race out of a bullet workout.
Yeah, and another one who I think kind of showed some sneaky good progression from start to start. Solid debut on a muddy track, again, that could translate to turf ability, finishing ahead of a next out winner. Then did regress, yes, from a speed figure standpoint, but was third in the Moplex race after being bumped hard at the start. And Mike Maker, again, we talk about his success with surface switches. This one, that muddy track ability that could translate to turf. And Tis the Law, perhaps another hidden turf sire. His sire, Constitution, is quietly emerging actually as one of the leading living turf sires in the United States right now.
The 2B Epitaph is also eligible for Gary Contessa. Bullet Workout 2-back, the 1A Resilient Hero, entered main track only. Let's take a look at our top selections for race number 2. I think it's a wide open race. You're going with Out on Bail. Experience counts, should show some speed, well connected. Tough outside post, but with this horse's speed, I think he can gain a very forward position.
Yeah, and we like some of the same horses in here, Dan. And I'd like to hear a little bit more about your top selection, Pay the Juice for Shug McGahee. But ultimately, I did go with that experience counts factor in what looks like a wide open race. Out on Bail coming out of not just the Moplex race, but another nice maiden race as well. And this is one who I think is eligible to move forward on the turf.
You made a very good point about Shug's 2-year-old first-time starters on the turf. You like him going a little bit longer. I tend to agree with you. I'm hoping Omaha Beach on top in this pedigree infuses a little bit of speed. I like the long work tab here. I just think it seems like a really good spot for Pay the Juice, who sold well at public auction twice. I'm completely with you with the 10 Out on Bail. I want to use that horse in the pick 4. And I also want to use Iron Max. Jeremiah Engelhardt is just so hot right now, and he's had nothing but good things to say about this horse. I'm expecting some early speed. 10-7-1-2 for Nicole, 7-10-3-6 for me. We kick off the week at Saratoga with Wednesday Spa Babies, presented by Stone Street.